Hey guys, welcome back to round 15 of Inside the Clinch. My name is Eric, and this week I'm joined by another longtime friend, Max. Max used to train at judo with Johnny and myself for many years, and Johnny wasn't able to make it this week. So we had,
Yeah, so I'm just stepping in, but it's nice to finally be on here.
yeah, man, glad we finally got you on. Hopefully we'll
Bro.
have you on plenty of more times in the future, but
Yeah, bro.
excited you can join us today, man.
Likewise, likewise.
So Max, UFC 258 was this weekend. It was a pretty stacked pay-per-view. For a lot of people, they thought it was a light card. They weren't expecting much of it. But I mean, I was watching it from pretty much the prelims, and this was a pretty exciting card. Not that many big names, but a lot of nice performances. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I did. I didn't really see most. I saw the last fight of the prelims with the jiu-jitsu guy.
Vieira?
Vieira, yeah, he just gassed out. Remember that? That's
Yeah,
the only one that I
super
caught at the
early.
end. But I thought most of the main card was pretty lit.
Yeah, so I guess let's start with the main event and work our way down. So Usman and Burns fought for the welterweight
Bro.
title.
Yeah, that was kind of a disappointment, and I hate to have been rooting for Burns so hard, but I just don't, I can't fuck with Kamaru as like a champion. He's just like so hard to get behind. He's just so cringe and unlikable, and it's like and he's like everything shows pretty positively towards his accomplishments. He's like defending his title. He's like kind of whooping everybody, but it's like still I can't like the guy. You know what I mean?
I completely agree with you, and we'll get to that in just a second. But first, just a breakdown of the fight. So Gilbert Burns, he did well in the first round. He landed some pretty hard shots on Kamaru, and kind of dropped him and had Kamaru in trouble for I would say one of the first times in Kamaru's career, which was pretty impressive. But Kamaru then started to pick up the pace, and after the second round, Kamaru came back, just had a game change. He dropped Burns a couple of times. Burns tried to get Kamaru to come into the ground to implement some jujitsu, but Kamaru obviously knows better. And in 30 seconds into the third round, Kamaru got a TKO stoppage of Burns. So yeah, I mean the fight was a pretty interesting fight.
I agree. I honestly, that's the first time I've ever seen Kamaru like chicken leg
Yeah, that was the
after
first time he
getting
got hit
hit.
that hard.
Yeah, so I was like kind of expecting Gilbert to capitalize on that, but he kind of just like slowed down a little bit after, and like feel like he got really confident and just
Yeah,
wanted
I don't
to
know if
like
he was like too
see
excited at
where
the beginning. I feel like maybe it was where he was able to land that, and I don't know if maybe some of the adrenaline wore off, but he started off amazing. He looked great in the beginning.
super good. I feel like if he kind of continued down, I don't know what he was thinking when he had Kamaru hurt like that, or why he decided to just like I don't know what really happened, but he didn't really capitalize on that, and then he just really just kept getting jabbed in the face and like slowed down. And I feel like the last one that took him out was such like a from the shoulders all the way back jab that was like a straight punch kind of and just like took him out.
Yeah,
It
and
was
in
kind of
between
impressive.
rounds, even Kamaro's team said, you're a champ because of that jab. Show that jab.
Yeah, dude, Trevor
Quality.
Whitman, whoever that new coach is, like he's such a good like game planner. Like whatever he had figured out for Kamaru was intense.
Yeah, he has
Yeah,
one
but
of the
that jab
best
is
minds in MMA sports right now. I mean, the guy's a genius when it comes to coaching. But yeah, so Kamaru got his hand raised, and building off what you were just saying, super cringe pretty much from the start.
super
I don't
cringe.
know.
The
I agree with you. His accolades are amazing, and he is one of the best in the UFC right now for sure. Definitely on the pound for pound list. But
Yeah,
it's hard to like the guy on a personal level. I agree. I feel like he tries
it
too
is,
hard, and
dude.
because of
It
that,
is. Yeah, dude. He's kind of like taking over like what Tyron Woodley was doing, but just like on a cringer, like everyone's against me, but I'm showing everybody, like it's like no one's against you. He just like always comes, even the way he like prayed and bowed in was so like he looked at the camera as soon as he opened his
yeah,
eyes, like he had the whole thing planned out. It was just like hard to watch, bro, honestly. Like
yeah. I don't know his post. I mean, I'm glad that he at least gave Burns a nice shout out during his post fight interviews. That was respectful, especially considering they were former teammates.
what
But
did he say?
he just said that Gilbert Burns is like the next best welterweight out there. He just gave him a lot of praise, and just said some nice words about Burns, which I was actually surprised to see because of the whole upset, cringy, upset look that he had on his face. As they were calling out his name.
But it's like when you win, you have to kind of put all that aside because it's even worse if you're like still holding the grudge after you just whoop the guy. You know what I
So you
mean?
don't put no respect on his name.
No respect on the name. I feel like Gilbert Burns would have a harder time putting respect on Kamaru's name after losing. But still, nothing that he did that was like won any points in my book. Honestly, like it was an impressive fight. I feel like I don't know, maybe like Gilbert just like freaked out or just got nervous, but it wasn't really. I don't know. It wasn't like anything
It wasn't a
substantially
new and improved
impressive.
Usman, which was kind of what
I mean,
the commentary was saying. Look, the guy's a stud, but I don't know if you can say he got better. I mean,
but like, what would you judge? What would you judge on better? Because he's been killing it all of this time. Like,
what could you do?
what
But I
would
mean,
he
the
need
dude
to
has insane
exactly
grappling, insane striking, insane
exactly?
cardio. Like, I mean, he is like a pretty full MMA package. You know what I mean? But he did get
So
caught,
to that,
and he
who's
got
left?
caught hard. So I mean, again,
Who?
it could
Kamara got
Usman
caught.
did. They both did, but I was referring to Usman. I mean, look, maybe it's just a matter of footwork. Something simple, not necessarily like a whole game changer, but there's always something to sharpen up.
Yeah, we couldn't see it. I mean, he had that game plan. He's following directions. I don't know how long he's been with Trevor Whitman or whatever, but
Only since the fight initially got announced.
so this is the first camp that he's had with this
Yep.
guy, right? Yeah, it's like
Yep.
what would he even improve? He seems like he's getting better, and he doesn't seem like there's anyone that's gonna give him a hard time that I can think of right now. To be honest,
Hamzat, let's
Hamzat, bro, Hamzat's
go.
like still almost dying from COVID, bro.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he recovers all right. He did try to bounce back in, but I know they did bring him to the United States actually to get proper American
This
healthcare.
recently, right?
Yeah,
Isn't he
this
supposed to? Is he still fighting Leon Edwards or?
no, so he's pulled off from that card, but Leon is trying to stay on that card. But as always, Leon Edwards is unable to find someone who's willing to get in the octagon with him. Um, so we'll
I
actually
mean,
get into
no.
that a little bit
So
later. This
yeah,
actually leaves
okay,
welterweight in a
okay,
really interesting position. But let's just go through a couple of the other big events in this card, and then we'll just talk about what's going down
okay.
in welterweight. So following the Usman Burns fight, or sorry, prior to the Usman Burns fight, we had Macy Barber and Alexa Grasso.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta admit, I was rooting for Macy Barber in this one. I thought she was gonna
As
win it.
always.
Coming in, she was coming in as an underdog, and I bet a little bit of money on her, but unfortunately, I did not get
So,
too
so
lucky.
there's a non, but okay. Well, I'll be honest. I hate Macy Barber. I think she just looks like a big baby, and she just swings like a big baby. Um, I don't know. I was really impressed with Alexa Grasso. I think that's the first time she's fighting at that weight, and she just like seemed really well put together. Just like maybe outshine Macy a little bit. Like
Yeah,
Macy's like pummels through girls normally. So like it was kind of cool to see.
yeah, no, Alexa Grasso really surprised me as well. She does have like that Mexican boxing background, this super tough Mexican style, but I didn't expect her striking to be at the same level as Macy Barber. But for the first two rounds,
Really?
she did great.
I thought yeah, her striking is kind of like old school Mexican boxing strike. Like she doesn't swing wide. She had like pretty straight and like direct punches. I was mostly impressed with the jujitsu. I feel like that was more. I didn't expect
Yeah.
that attempt at all. But
Hey,
just
she developed
overall,
a
I was
lot in her
really
jiu-jitsu game.
for real, dude, for real. But like Macy kind of turned it on in the last round, which was like if props to her for like understanding that she was down and like
Too little, too late though.
bro, she could have like any one punch from her is like all it takes. So I feel like
I
it
feel if it
wasn't
was
a
a five
tear
round fight, the dynamic of the fight would have changed. But I also feel like Grasso had a little bit of
to
confidence.
whose
She was just trying to
to
buy time
whose favor.
to Barber. I mean, the fight did look like it was turning in the third round. Like you said, Macy was picking up the pace, and she did. Well, I thought she won that round. I don't know
Have you
how well.
has she fought? She's never fought 5 rounds or anything like that, right?
I don't believe so. No.
I don't like so
Maybe her last.
we don't know how conditioned she is. Like maybe she
Yeah,
was just like depleting herself for that third round. It's like give it all you got now.
that's
I
also
can't imagine.
possible.
I can't imagine that style lasting you 5 rounds. You know what I mean? Just like gas out pretty quick. But
So yeah, I mean, she was going to be the youngest UFC champ, which I didn't like because she was trying to beat John Jones's record, and you can't compare a stacked prime light heavyweight division in the UFC compared to like the women's flyweight. Like it just
yeah,
wouldn't have
for
the
real.
same shine. So I don't know, that
Right,
whole
but
thing rubbed me the wrong way. So I don't think that's happening since she's coming off two back to
how old
back
was how old was John? 22.
22. Yeah,
Yeah, dude, I don't think she's gonna be able to like.
she might be champ in the future, but I don't think she'll be the youngest in the
Who
UFC.
else? Who else is in that weight class?
Let's see.
Valentina is flyweight.
Flyweight, yeah. Valentina's
Yeah,
champ, Jessica Andrade, Chukagan,
nah,
Murphy,
Chukagian. I don't
Calderwood.
think I. Yeah, dude, I don't think she'll be champ. Like, really, like, how many of those that you think they should be able to walk through?
No one's beating Valentina, bro. Unless your name is
Yeah, like
Amanda
that's at the top.
Nunez,
Like,
you're not beating
exactly.
you're not beating Shevchenko.
Yeah, that's fact.
And again, the only reason that she would beat Nunez is just because she's bigger, like physically so much bigger than Shevchenko. Otherwise, I mean, if they were the same size, I would love
Oh,
to
you're
watch.
saying Nunes? Yeah, she's a
Nunez is
lot
a
bigger. But
lot
they
bigger.
fought. Didn't they fight at 135 and
Yeah,
or both
I
at
think
that
Nunez
both?
won both times. Yeah, I want to rewatch those fights. Those were excellent fights. And as far as the women's division, as far as the biggest women's fights and you can make, I feel like those two you can put them on every few months, and UFC fans will be
Yeah, but
entertained.
then you risk Valentina losing a third time, and it's just like all over.
They should have the women's division and elite women's division. It's just them two up there.
Them two, I
We'll see
agree.
who else
They're just like
qualifies.
they're so far ahead of the
It's
rest of them.
different
It's
level,
like not
bro.
even. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So yeah, another UFC pioneer, Kelvin Gastelum, got his hand raised against Ian Heinz
Mhm.
this weekend.
Yeah,
Um,
homeboy.
homeboy. So what did you think of his performance?
Kelvin's performance, I thought honestly, I don't know, he didn't do anything super spectacular, but I felt like you could see his experience in the cage a little bit there. Like, I thought overall it was pretty good, dude. I thought his wrestling was pretty sick. I um I
Yeah, I mean his
honestly
grappling.
expected
He
more,
got. Sorry, go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you out there.
no, I just expected a little more from his striking, given like what Kelvin's about, and we didn't really see much of that. I don't know if that's mostly to attribute to um, Heinz's skill set or whatever, but I really didn't see any of the striking that we would have expected. I think,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Kelvin Gastelum got a bunch of takedowns. He was getting them like light work,
yeah,
barely
it was
putting
kind
in
of
any
impressive.
effort. Ian Heinz, he wasn't doing horribly. He was doing pretty well. But to be honest, I am a bit surprised that someone with the IQ of Kevin Gastelum did have, I guess, a hard time finishing Ian Heinisch. Kelvin Gastelum has been in there with some legends, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Weidman, he's been there with Adesanya. He's just, he has a very, very impressive resume and, some impressive wins as well. So I feel like Kelvin Gastelum should have had an easier time than he did with Ian Heinisch. But that being
right.
said, he did finally break his 3-loss losing streak.
That's
So
another thing. Like,
he saved his career. Dana might have given him the
yeah,
boot if he lost this one.
yeah. I think that he would have like given that the fight that he lost was like a pretty. It's kind of Izzy's most difficult fight. And who did he lose to last time? He got submitted recently, no?
Adesanya, Darren Till decision, and Hermanson heel hook.
Submitted, yeah. So like he's been in every single fight he's in is entertaining, even when he loses. I feel like Dana would have given him a fourth opportunity. And like I wouldn't want to like show my skill set against a guy like Ian Heinz anyways, like being Kelvin Gastelum. I feel like he just decided to play it safe, just like neutralize everything that Ian was gonna do, and I don't know. I don't know what the game plan was, honestly, but I was impressed with the wrestling, and yeah,
Do you think he makes a comeback, or do you think he's just going to be one of
for sure,
those?
dude. I'm for sure thinking. Like, I don't know how he's like competing with these guys. Like he's so small for that weight division. He's just I honestly think he's gonna make a comeback. I know how you feel about him, but
Yeah, we actually
uh,
spoke about it last podcast. I gave him
yeah,
the deep as to why I'm not a fan of
not a
Kelvin
fan.
Gastelum
Oh
anymore,
yeah, yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
I
He's
will
like
not be rooting for him.
no, that's understandable. What did you think?
Of what?
The fight, his
Of
performance, Ian.
look, Kelvin looked great. Ian looked honestly better than I thought he would. I was hoping Ian Heinz was going to get that one punch knockout on Kelvin Gastelum, but Kelvin Gastelum
Really
does.
on Cal.
That's what I'm saying. He does
Okay,
have a chin, but I'm not a fan of Calvin. I kind of was rooting for him to lose. So I was hoping that was going to be
that's
like
fair.
a
Yeah, yeah.
devastating loss. But,
That's
I'm just an asshole sometimes. So it is what it is.
okay. It's understandable, man.
But yeah, I don't know if I agree with you that Kelvin Gastelum's going to make a comeback and, make it to necessarily the top of the division. But I mean, there are some people he
Who
could beat.
who's left there? Because Izzy's pretty much taking a break from there for now until.
Costa's in there. I think
Oh
Costa.
damn.
I don't think Costa's that amazing of a martial artist, but I do think he can probably beat him.
I think that Costa isn't going to be the same Costa anymore after that. So like,
He was overhyped. a marketable person. I feel like the way
He's
he.
marketable. He's big and beefcake. Like he lifts
Yeah,
people. He's marketable. But I just feel like getting an ass whooping like that to the point where you're like, it just was embarrassing. But I can't imagine his ego and bravado surviving that and just I don't know. That would be an interesting fight though, Costa and Kelvin Gastelum.
yeah. I'd like to see that one. But let's see. So
Yeah,
Kelvin is now ranked number 8. So 7 is Brunson, which I do think Kelvin Gastelum could beat Brunson. Jack
yeah, for
Hermanson
sure.
is number 6.
Yeah, I think he could beat him too. It was just a weird heel hook that he got him with pretty early, I think, too, right?
It's possible, yeah. Marvin Vittori is ranked at number 5, and I think Vittori will probably beat Gastelum.
You
And
like Vittori?
he's not bad. I think he has a lot of potential. He needs to fix up a couple of things, but I think he definitely has potential. And then we have Darren Till, Jack Cannonier, and Paulo Costa, and Robert Whitaker. And I mean, I don't see Gastelum beating any of those guys.
I don't see
Maybe
Gastelum beating
Cannonier,
Whitaker.
depending how he returns after that surgery, but I don't know.
I, I feel like I always think people can beat Whitaker, but then he kind of surprises you. I don't know. Kelvin did good against Izzy, man. Like really, that's like if you run that fight through, you can't see that skill set.
I'm
You
honestly
know, against
surprised how close that fight was
me
compared to
too,
the
dude.
people
Me
that Izzy
too.
has beaten that are so much better
Me
than
too.
Calvin. But like, I don't know, that was Izzy's closest fight to date. And I mean, Johnny always says that, oh, because he doesn't think as highly of Izzy as I guess the rest of the people do. He's like, dude, he almost lost to Kelvin Gastelum.
Dude, I know. I was in Izzy. I couldn't jump on the bandwagon either, but it's like every single time, dude, he just comes through every time. It's
Dude,
almost
he's
like,
the man. He's the man.
huh? He's
He's
the
the
man.
man.
Yeah, dude. He's the man.
But yeah, overall, UFC 258 was a pretty exciting card. Like I said, I was watching from the prelims and a lot of great performances from top to bottom. But yeah, so let's move on to where this leaves the welterweights. So like we said, Usman defeated Burns. So he's calling out Colby. He's calling out Masvidal. Both of those rematches. I guess for the between those two options, which would you rather Usman go after next?
I don't know. Is it fair to say that um, Colby put on a better fight with him?
I agree 100%. My personal opinion, I thought Colby was winning 3 rounds to 1 going into that 5th round.
For
I
sure, dude.
think the only round that Usman won was that I think it was the 3rd round where he broke Colby's jaw. And in the 5th
Mhm.
round, I mean, it's not a bad stoppage, but you can also argue that it was an unnecessary stoppage because I mean he dropped, he got a double leg, but like he was still responding. He wasn't out of the fight.
That's when
Controversial.
he just like straight punched him and he landed on his butt, right? It was
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And then Usman
I
rushed.
honestly, where would that have gone? Just him
I mean,
getting
it's
his
the
ass
last
kicked on the.
round, bro. You don't understand, bro. He got his jaw
That's fair.
broken and he still won that next round. Like, how
That's
insane.
fair. He actually was also. I heard him saying complaining once that how did the other corner find out that his
Yeah,
jaw was broken, which is
yeah,
like such a fair complaint.
for sure.
Um, yeah, 'cause I feel like with Kamaru's new coaching and with Trevor Whitman, I don't think that there's anyone that's going to be able to
I think right
give
now
him any
Colby
trouble.
definitely is the biggest threat for Usman. Colby, like I said, I think Colby almost won. I think if they
I,
rematch again, Colby has a very high chance of beating Usman. Look, one of Usman's biggest threats is his wrestling. That's not as big of a threat for Colby. Colby has a very strong wrestling pedigree. We saw the striking; they're both there. It looked like Usman had a little bit more power. Colby had a little bit more of a pace and speed. But I mean, I love that fight personally. I feel like I could watch that fight 10 times and I'd be entertained every time.
yeah, you're right. I still I there's well Masvidal claims that he hasn't had enough training or not long enough of a camp,
Which is also a
and
valid
he's like
argument.
like I don't know, like I don't really remember how that fight played out. Do you know if it was unanimous or split the decision?
Unanimous decision. All 5 rounds to Usman. One judge had 1 round to Masvidal. Everything
Really,
else,
he
yeah,
lost all of them. Is that how
yeah.
you remember? Okay. Damn, I don't know how much a full training camp would add to losing all 5 rounds, especially if Kamaru has a different coach now. And I don't
Yes,
know. Probably Kobe. You're right, dude. Honestly, I think he needs like they need to take a break and someone else needs to come through because right now it's like they're throwing the same people into the ring to
okay, so let's
I
go
don't know
down the rankings
potentially.
right now and see who's I guess potential contenders. So Kobe's number 1, we just mentioned. 2 is Burns. He just fought this weekend. Number 3 is Leon Edwards. Now, Leon Edwards is looking for a fight this weekend.
Dude,
Probably not going to get the champ on Saturday. That's going to be highly unlikely. But Leon Edwards is looking for a fight. Nate Diaz, he's calling out. He's calling out Wonder Boy. But look, I mean, once you go past Wonder Boy, you know, the rest of the fighters need at least one or two.
can you read them all? Can you read them all after continue going after Leon Edwards? Like who's 4 or 5 and stuff?
Sure. Masvidal's 4, Thompson, Wonder Boy is 5, 6 is Chiesa, 7 is Woodley, 8 is Maya, 9 is Magny, 10 is Luque.
Okay.
So yeah, so like it's pretty much a top 5. So I feel like I heard a lot of people saying that Wonder Boy deserves a shot. If you want someone new in the picture, I feel like Wonder Boy, I guess, does make a little bit of sense. But in my opinion, Wonder Boy hasn't really fought or beaten anyone significant recently in order to get a title shot. You know what I mean? I feel like he's kind of just been waiting on the sidelines and ducking fights, kind of waiting to
Well,
get.
he fought Vincente Luque, right?
Yeah, but
Was that his last fight?
yeah, I believe so.
Really?
Yeah,
That was
which
like
I mean
last
was a
year.
great performance.
That was like,
I guess it's a valid
I
enough
mean, dude,
perform.
he threw everything at that guy and he still was
Yeah, I
still
don't know how the
winning.
fuck Luke
I
didn't
can't.
get knocked out. That was crazy.
Yeah, he said I think he broke both his hands or at least one of his hands during that fight, just punching the guy in the face. Like imagine. I don't know what he's gonna do to Kamaru. He could just clinch with Wonder Boy and take him down, and then just do what he did to Woodley. I don't really see anyone. Honestly, I thought Gilbert Burns was the best option. Like if you give, I think an immediate rematch to Gilbert Burns and just be like, hey, calm down. You know, like, you hit him really hard that first time. Go out there fast again, or whatever it takes.
So
I
you
think
think
that he
Burns
might still.
deserves it? Deserves a rematch first? That should be Usman's
I don't
next
think
fight.
he
You think?
deserves. I don't think he deserves a rematch first, but like I'd like to see Leon Edwards fight someone before they give him to Kamaru, just so we could like at least be reminded of what Leon Edwards does, bro.
I
Like
agree,
I
bro.
feel like
2 years he's not fighting already, bro. 2 years.
for real, it's like no one even thinks he's good. I'm pretty sure because like he hasn't really. I don't know. He hasn't really done anything in a while. So
Yeah,
like,
man.
and I don't know how you felt about how that fight was gonna go with Chimaev, but I thought that was like it wasn't gonna be a good performance of Chimaev like against Leon Edwards. I thought that was
Who
like
do you
kind
think
of
would
a
have won?
trap. I think Leon Edwards would have won.
Really?
I think so.
Johnny
Yeah,
and I
dude. We
both
haven't seen
think Hamzat smash, brother. I mean, again,
Hamzat.
like you made it very
Hamzat smashes. Hamzat hasn't smashed anyone good.
valid, but like you said, we haven't seen Leon in a long time, and he actually got asked on Ariel if ring rust is going to be a factor. You know, Leon claims he's been active, he's been training, so it's not going to be. But
I don't believe in ring rust. I feel like some guys come back and they're absolutely fine. Like
it depends, in my opinion, not necessarily if you're competing, but if you're active in between. You know, not just like half-ass going to training, but if you're still, you know, working out, doing all your classes, like
yeah,
drilling, all that stuff, like
like TJ Dillashaw.
with minus the EPOs.
Yeah, hopefully. Um, yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure he's still active. He's like always kind of hunting for a fight, I think, right? Or is he ducking fights?
Who is this here? Chimaev. I mean,
Leon,
oh
Leon.
Leon,
Shemaev, I know his game plan. Fucking give me anybody, right? Whenever.
smash everybody, brother.
Yeah, dude, he just smashes people too quick. Like you think he's good just because he beat up some scrubs.
Now he's very well
And then
rounded. I mean,
yes, but
I
it's like
very good argument that he has not fought anyone good. Completely agree with you there. But I feel like Leon, we do need to see him again. This whole weight class right now is very weird. Just with
yeah.
everything going on, it looks like you have 3 different options for the champion to have rematches, and instead of fighting on new contenders, you have basically an unranked guy taking on the number 3 guy. Like it's very strange dynamics what's happening here right now.
Who is that you're talking about?
Chimaev, I mean, now he's ranked 14.
Shemaev.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was 15 prior, and now he's
yeah,
fighting.
dude.
He's
That was like
supposed
a
to fight
weird.
again.
I'm pretty sure that fight happened because of someone calling, like Leon Edwards called him out on Twitter or something. Like I don't
No,
think
they
that
made him.
Dana.
You don't remember what happened? The UFC made Leon take that fight. They took Leon off the rankings because he wasn't
No, right?
active. Yeah, they took
I thought
Leon
he like
off the
I
rankings.
remember him putting out a tweet that was like, "Yo, Kamaev, where you at? Like, fuck it." No.
I don't remember the timeline, but I do know that to
Well,
get that fight done, they had to
it's
prevent
weird.
Leon.
It's weird if they made him because like they potentially risk losing two like Leon Edwards is useful to them because he
He's
would. I
not.
feel like,
That's the
in my
problem.
opinion,
He's not a superstar. He doesn't bring much value to the brand. I feel like that's why he's
no,
taking
but
this
he could
hit.
take out Kamaru Usman. Like that would be like legitimately the only one, the only person that I would think would have a decent shot after Gilbert Burns.
I think
Um,
Leon is the only one that beat Usman, right? Or the other way around?
I don't
The other way around, I think.
know. Leon, I don't know, dude. I tried to look up Kamaru's loss the other day, like just cycling through the years, and I'm like 15, 17, fucking 8. You have to keep going back, bro. I don't know when he had a loss the last time, but
Very
he's been
early
a
in his
record
career.
for
The
a
dude's
minute.
a beast. The dude's just a
Yeah,
fucking
beast, dude.
beast. But all right, let's
Yeah.
hit on one last topic before we wrap up tonight. So we have interesting event coming up this Saturday. We have Curtis Blaydes taking on Derick Lewis. This is at heavyweight. And the winner, I can't necessarily say will be next to fight for the belt, but they are in line after John Jones, most likely. We have Stipe and Francis Ngannou fighting for the heavyweight belt in March. The winner will fight John Jones, most likely at heavyweight. John Jones
Uh-huh.
making his heavyweight debut finally. And after
Okay.
that, maybe one of these two guys, whoever gets their hand raised this Saturday, might get the next shot, which honestly might take at least a year till that happens. But what's your take? How do you see this fight
Um,
going?
Honestly, Derek Lewis has been surprising me. Just he's been picking up a lot of skills. I feel like the last time he fought against Olenek, was that his last fight?
Yep.
Yeah, he had like jumping knees and like all this new stuff from Derek Lewis. I don't know how much of that is going to play like how much of a factor that's going to be if Curtis just wrestles him. But I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I've seen
So
Curtis get knocked out by Francis with one punch. Like, so if Derek Lewis can like get him coming in, what do you think?
yeah, so Derek Lewis definitely has a knockout, punch possibility. Building off what you said about Derek Lewis as well, how much he's evolving this late in his career, still every time we see him step in, he's evolving, like you said, flying kicks, flying this, like switching around, moving. And this is coming from a very big heavyweight who had a lot of back problems and I think knee problems as well. He did have a little bit of a surgery a couple of years ago, so he has been improving. He says he feels a lot better. Um, he also says he's been working on his jiu-jitsu and his grappling for this camp, which is, I mean, a smart move, but Curtis Blaydes has a very,
Yeah.
very strong wrestling pedigree. And I mean, we've seen Derek Lewis against other wrestlers, as long as you can get Derek Lewis to the ground, he's not really a threat. And, Derek Lewis is a dominant wrestler. And I feel
When did that happen to Lewis? That he got taken
Overeem, I
out?
believe it was.
Oh yeah.
And he just
I
got taken down.
yeah,
He doesn't know how to
100%
get up. He
agree
doesn't
though.
know how to position himself correctly. That was then at least, he may have evolved by now. He may have learned, but you can
Yeah.
only learn so much in a training camp. You know what I mean? Curtis Blaydes has a lifetime of wrestling, and you really can't prepare for that in a training camp, 6, 8 weeks, whatever it is. So I feel like if Curtis Blaydes can secure the takedown and get it to the ground, I feel like he'll have an easy night. But he does need to watch out for Derek Lewis's punches because they can definitely put him to sleep.
Yeah, dude, I agree. I don't know how much a training camp with a heavy grappling training camp is going to help you when it's against someone that kind of does that as a specialty. It's just a matter of how long he's gonna delay the inevitable. So I honestly think Curtis Blades has what it takes to just like ride out the time and just like ground and pound or whatever he's gonna do.
Yeah, I agree. I think
But
Curtis Blaydes is going to get his hand raised, and like I said, as long as he can secure the takedown, I think it's going to be a pretty easy night for him.
for real,
Derek
I
Lewis
think
has actually been
Lewis.
trolling online saying that he's gonna submit Blades, which is kind
That's
of funny, but
hilarious.
like
That's hilarious.
Blades is not Blades, sorry. Lewis is the kind of guy he says these things with like a straight face, so it's like you don't know if he's serious, you don't know
Okay,
if
like
he's trolling,
he
like but like I'm taking him at his
he's
word.
trolling. He's trolling. He's definitely gonna try to knock him out, I think.
Hey, I hope
Um,
so.
I just don't see him as like a potential threat to anyone in heavyweight on top. You know what I mean? I just don't like. He's entertaining to watch fight, but I don't know. I don't think he has what it takes to go past Blades. You know what I mean? Like he shouldn't
Yeah.
be
He
like
he won't
he
beat Stipe,
wouldn't.
he won't beat Francis.
No, no.
And that's, I mean, pretty much the top of the division, which actually
I
brings
mean,
me to my
John
next.
Jones is there now
GG's, everybody.
for real.
But that actually brings me to my next point. So if Blaydes wins, he literally has no one else to fight until the John Jones situation clears up. I feel like if Lewis wins, maybe he can have a rematch with Volkov, since both of them are coming off a couple of wins and that was a super close fight.
He lost in the last 10 or 15 seconds of that
Yeah, so if
last
Lewis
round.
fights, I think that's the one fight that the UFC can bank on to, have both fighters active until John Jones fights for the heavyweight title, and then the winner of that maybe fights. But
Well,
I don't know. I feel bad.
so
Curtis Blaydes, I mean, he's been wrecking through the entire division, but he just can't make it to the actual top of the mountain. He's like right there at the top and not quite at the peak. I don't
well,
see him being champion unless Stipe retires, Francis retires, like John Jones retires. Like Curtis Blaydes or Lewis, neither of them are ever going to beat those three, in my opinion.
who do you see winning against Francis and Stipe?
I have a feeling Stipe is going to win this
Honestly, because
fight.
if you don't
Sorry.
count
Take that
really
back. Francis.
Francis, yeah, for
Yes.
real, me too.
Knockout.
I can't see. Straight up, I can't see those fights with DC being good on Stipe, especially his like endurance and conditioning or his ability to take a punch. That's got to be like that's not one of those things where it's like you get better the more you get punched in the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So given that we're both assuming it's gonna be Francis, where does Stipe go? Who fights Stipe? You know what I mean? Like he gets thrown into the mix if Francis has the belt, and it's like I don't think they would even do John Jones versus Francis immediately because they would just kind of like risk losing two fucking cash cows, you know?
I mean, I agree with you. I think Francis deserves it though. I don't know if you heard him on Rogan's. His story is insane. He was on
No,
Rogan's a week or
I
two
I
ago.
don't even want to listen to that because I'll feel bad about how good my life is.
Dude,
Like
his
how
his
I don't even.
it's insane. Like his story is just insane. The guy is just a phenomenal guy, super nice guy. He's like a friendly giant, man. He's awesome
Yeah,
dude. I,
but
I just feel bad that
we
he
don't know
hasn't
if
had the
he's been
gold.
getting better or anything like that. Every single fight he has is like sub 30 seconds, like the last I can remember. It's like,
This
what
is
did he
some
learn from?
this is something I said to Johnny a little while back. I feel like if Francis can secure that UFC belt, I don't think anyone is going to get their hands on it for a very long time. Dude, you literally
Yeah,
he like you just said, he beats everyone in like 30 seconds, knockout, knockout,
what about
knockout.
John?
John Jones is a different animal. He's not going to be able to do that to John. John Jones,
Exactly. So what if John gets his
I
hands on
think.
the belt?
But I don't know if John Jones can handle that power. I don't know anyone that could that I have to rewatch that fight. I don't know if Stipe got hit with anything clean by Francis in the first fight, but aside from Stipe, I haven't seen a single man that can stand up
John
with
is good if like, John is good at keeping people at a distance if he wants to keep them at a distance. You know what I mean?
which
Like if
is
he doesn't
for
like
his
get
length and his style is perfect.
exactly. So if he like again like if the game plan is correct, I think that he would have he would do pretty well against Francis. Again, I haven't seen Francis do anything but blow people into another dimension. So I don't know what he can do, what his wrestling is like, what he's even capable of, to be honest. And we've seen John Jones getting pretty messed up like the last few fights that he's had. So it seems like it would be easy for Francis to just like fly right through him, but I think like John might put up a bigger fight.
Exciting times ahead, man. A lot of interesting matchups.
For real, dude.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for round 15 of Inside the Clinch. As always, don't forget to follow us and engage on social media. On Instagram, we are Inside the Clinch MMA. On Twitter, we are ITC MMA Podcast. And on Facebook and YouTube, we are Inside the Clinch MMA Podcast. Thank you guys and see you next week.